Well, it's week 17 in the NFL, which means there are only 2 weeks left in the regular season until the playoffs. Who's good? I still don't know. Grossi, Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where you don't, I do Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. Yep, we're still doing this even though we have no idea. Grossi, and today we are going to attempt, an emphasis on attempt, to rank the top 10 teams heading into week 17. And usually in previous years, this is a lot easier. And to be honest, it gets a little mundane usually because it's usually the top 5 to 8 teams that are all like, kind of in the same spots. There's not a whole lot of movement. But now the 49ers, who were by far the best team in the league for weeks, everybody, including myself, thought they couldn't be dethroned. Well, here comes Papa Kaka in the Baltimore Ravens, knocking them off. And not only just winning, destroying the San Francisco 49ers. So, yeah, everything is topsy-turvy. We're going to try and figure it out. Before we jump into the top 10, I want to do some honorable mentions. I got to shout out the Vegas Raiders. Not going to make it in the top 10 because that record still ain't that great, but they've been playing some great football. 63 points on the Chargers, and then to go into Arrowhead on Christmas, and that defense, even when your offense wasn't playing that well, your defense making Patrick Mahomes' life miserable, even though his receivers were doing that for him as well. But Raiders, you deserve a ton of credit. I hope you keep Pierce and don't make the same mistake you did with Rich Bisaccia and letting him go. But then again, the Packers could probably use him. But anyway, the point is, Raiders, you deserve a lot of credit. They are still fighting for a playoff spot. And who knows, if the Chiefs keep on tumbling, they may find themselves in the top 10. We also got to shout out the Eagles, and even though they're not going to make it in the top 10, they got to win, so they ended their 3-game losing streak. However, yeah, the fact that it went that close with the Giants, not so great. And finally, I thought we were done. I got to shout out the Pittsburgh Steelers because somehow, some way, they just keep on coming back. Every single time I think they're done, Mike Tomlin's like, nay. George Pickens gets all this crap for not blocking. He goes off and has a game against the Bengals, who were looking real damn good. So yeah, Steelers, you get the honorable mention. Who knows? You're probably going to wind up making the postseason because I don't know what this season is anymore. So starting off with the top 10 at number 10, you got the Seattle Seahawks bouncing back into the top 10. And listen, I thought this team was DOA. I thought they were dead on arrival on Thanksgiving after getting blown out by the 49ers. But since that game, they have been playing much better football, in which they kept it close with the 49ers in that second matchup. And then they go toe-to-toe with the Dallas Cowboys, though I don't know how impressive that is anymore. But they still get props for it. Then they beat the Eagles on Monday night. And now they get back-to-back comeback wins, and I know Pete Carroll must be feeling it.
Man, I don't know what I do, but I just know how to do what I'm doing, but I don't know what the F I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing.
But seriously, the Seahawks have been playing some pretty impressive football, and I know they went toe-to-toe with the Titans, and they almost lost that game, but the Seahawks have shown that they are a gritty football team, and the path to the playoffs is still in front of them. If they win out, they're likely in the postseason. So the Seahawks, Drew Lock kept them alive on Monday night. Geno Smith continued that this week. Let's see if they can finish off the season on a high note. Though I'm going to be rooting for your downfall because I want the Packers to make the playoffs, so sorry. Number 9, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I just got to say, watching Baker Mayfield these last 2 weeks,
someone cooked here.
first, he had a perfect passer rating against the Green Bay Packers, which, listen, if you know the Packers defense and Joe Barry, that's not that impressive. But then goes out this week and has a phenomenal game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Buccaneers, not only is their offense clicking, but their defense is playing really solid football. And considering what this season was supposed to be, not a lot of people had a lot of faith in the Buccaneers. I said back in the offseason that maybe they could be contending, but I didn't think they'd be doing that well. Nay. Baker Mayfield has shown that he can be the guy in Tampa. I still don't know if he's going to be the long-term solution there, but they're going to probably win the NFC South. And I know the South is really not a great division, but the Buccaneers deserve some credit, and they could wind up pulling off an upset in that wild card round should they win their division. So I don't think any particular team in the NFC wants to travel to Tampa to play the Buccaneers right now because they're playing pretty damn good football. And so because of that, they're sitting at number 9. Number 8, you got the LA Rams finally making it into the top 10, and you just can't deny them anymore. Because Rams fans, you're basically sitting there deciding which receiver do you like more, Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua?
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. Probably equal.
And the good thing is they're on the same offense, so you don't even have to choose because that offense right now is clicking. Matthew Stafford is playing phenomenal football. The defense is playing pretty well. Of course, Kyron Williams has just been sensational for the Rams this year, and they really have shown how you could rebuild the right way, and it didn't take very long. Last season they were not good, but also their O-line was trash, and Matthew Stafford was struggling. But now they have a running back, they have some great receivers, so they have a really great foundation, and they actually have a first-round draft pick this offseason. But the Rams, they have their sights set on the playoffs right now. They went out, very good chance that they are going to make it into the postseason as well. Their big challenge is going to be against the 49ers week 18, and because the 49ers lost on Monday Night Football, you know the 49ers are going to be playing them extra hard because they're going to still try to hold on to that number 1 seed in the NFC. But Rams, you deserve a lot of credit. They've been playing some really good football this year. They are a hot team in the NFC, and after beating the Saints, they enter the top 10. Number 7, you got the Detroit Lions sitting there at 7. And listen, the Lions have flaws. I thought about putting them at 6, but we could talk about all the negative stuff, but I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson will make that secondary better. And while at times the offense or defense can be inconsistent, let's just focus on the positive here. The frickin' Lions, for the first time in NFL history, their fans got to watch them win the NFC North.
Check this out. I don't know. All right. That's history right there. You understand?
And legitimately, congratulations, because this is something that Lions fans have been yearning for a long time, and they got it done. And it wasn't the prettiest game because they were going up against Nick Mullins. Thankfully, Kirby Joseph saved the day, and I thought he just got interceptions against Aaron Rodgers. But that defense able to make enough of an effort to stop the Vikings, and the Vikings were playing them pretty tough, but Mullins turning the ball over a whole bunch of times wound up eventually sinking them. And like I said, the Lions, they are a dangerous team, but they are a flawed team. But at the same time, that's like every team in the NFC right now. So the Lions, I just want to give you a big congratulations. That run game with Gibbs and Montgomery is so damn good. You have the receivers. Goff is playing well. And this is just a big moment for Detroit, and I want to let them have their moment. And so, yeah, Lions, you're sitting in the top 10 at number 7. You have a date with the Cowboys on Saturday night, and if you win, you'll be climbing even higher. Number 6, you got the Dallas Cowboys, and oof, rough week for the Cowboys, and it's been a little bit rough. Of course, you had the game against the Bills, and now, unfortunately, losing to the Miami Dolphins in a tough game in which their offense just really couldn't get a lot going. Play calling was definitely suspect at times. I know there was some ref interference as well, but yeah, not a great time for the Cowboys. And I think that they're a team that is just going to be odd heading into the postseason, right? Because they clinched a playoff berth. That's what's important. But they're going to be playing the Lions on Saturday, and I don't know if they're going to win that game. But besides that, when they get to the postseason, if they have to play on the road and outside, it doesn't seem to be faring very well for them. So the Cowboys could definitely still go all the way. They're going to have some teams to contend with, like the Eagles. And I imagine Cowboys fans aren't too happy seeing the Eagles are back in first place in the East.
Oh, no, hang on. I've just realized.
What?
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
But Dallas, you definitely have some things to clean up. But at the end of the day, you just have to win a few more games in the postseason, and you can make it to the Super Bowl. So right now, that's how I'm approaching it. The Cowboys are remaining in the top 6. They're right outside the top 5. I don't really know if they deserve to be there. But right now, those teams beneath them, I don't know if there's any that I would really put on top, except maybe the Lions. So Cowboys, you have a chance to prove the world wrong and earn that spot by beating the Lions on Saturday. Let's see if you can do it. Number 5, you got the Buffalo Bills. Dropping a little bit even after a win because, Bills cut that one a little bit too close against the Chargers.
Ha! Almost lost my
cool there.
And listen, at the end of the day, they won. That's what's important. But the thing that was so frustrating to see is that James Cook, who had that monster game last week against Dallas, really wasn't utilized a ton, especially in the beginning of that game. And then on top of that, it's just the penalties, the turnovers. It's just the self-induced mistakes that are so frustrating to watch because the Bills are a good football team. And I was saying that they were one of the best, if not the best team in the AFC. And then the Ravens came along, and then the Bills struggled with the Chargers. Now, the good news is that the Bills still have a shot to make it into the postseason as long as they keep on winning. That Week 18 game against Miami is going to be amazing. And we're going to see which one of these teams is really going to make a splash in the postseason. And so, Bills, keep on fighting. You're still in the top 5, but let's play a little bit better, shall we? Number 4, you got the Miami Dolphins. And it turns out the Cowboys weren't so scary after all.
At first, you look kind of scary. When I think about it, it's not so bad.
The Dolphins getting a big win with a walk-off field goal against the Cowboys at home. And this was a game that I think was just a gritty win because the Miami Dolphins are kind of known as a finesse team. Of course, they can run it down your throat with Mostert or Achane. But I will say it's the way the Dolphins have been winning as of late that really impresses me. Last week, they did it without Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle got banged up this week, and they still were able to pull out a win. And it was the defense. Talk about that fumble on the goal line on the Cowboys' first drive. That completely and totally changed the game and would have potentially won the Cowboys the game. And the defense of the Dolphins has been playing pretty damn good football. And right now, it's all in front of them. They have an opportunity this week to play for the first overall seed in the AFC because it's going to come down to the Dolphins, the Browns, or the Ravens. And that's really damn exciting. So the Dolphins going up against the Ravens, that is probably going to be the game of the week. And if they're able to knock off Baltimore, oh boy. Get ready, Miami, because it'd be crazy. Number 3, you got the San Francisco 49ers. And you might be wondering why'd I drop them only a little bit. It's because the 49ers are still arguably the best team in the NFC. And they just went up against a buzzsaw in Lamar Jackson and that Ravens defense. And 49ers fans, some of them are looking at Brock Purdy and blaming him for ruining Christmas.
Look what you did, you little jerk.
I will say only 2 interceptions were really Brock Purdy's fault, but 4 interceptions on the night. Sam Darnold threw an interception as well. The offense, which usually just operates really smoothly, was having a ton of trouble. Tipped balls at the line, just couldn't really establish anything, or when they did in the red zone, they couldn't convert. I will say the 49ers defense deserves a lot of credit because there was a ton of turnovers, and for a while, that game was really close until the Ravens eventually ran away with it. So the 49ers, I know you're a little bit upset right now. You're still sitting at the 1 seed, so it shouldn't be too bad, but you got to win these last 2 games, so make sure you play the Rams really tough. Ultimately, I think the 49ers will be okay. However, if they wind up playing the Ravens again in the Super Bowl, let's hope they're a little bit more prepared this time. Number 2, you got the Cleveland Browns. Who would have thought, baby? Who would have thought? Amari Cooper having an amazing day. And I imagine he just went up to Joe Flacco after beating that franchise receiving yards record.
We did it. We did it, Joe.
Joe Flacco, Amari Cooper, the defense. The Browns are just a really scary football team. And I saw all the memes about Joe Flacco on Twitter, which were amazing, saying, hey, he played against Troy Polamalu. He ain't worried about any of these safeties or secondary players at all. And listen, Joe Flacco, I'm just so happy for him, man, because it's got to be really damn awesome to kind of get all this crap the past few years. You're a backup, you get some opportunities, and now you're having amazing games. And the Browns are just a crazy story. And I know they had a lot of drama, but what's really fascinating is the fact that all of their players, they just keep on getting injured. They're losing punters, they're losing kickers, but they're still winning football games. Can you imagine what this team would look like at full strength? Hell, even if they had Nick Chubb back there. But it doesn't matter because the Browns are a scary football team. Their defense is one that nobody wants to face. And heading into the postseason, the Browns, there are going to be very few teams they are going to be underdogs against. So yeah, Browns, you make it into the top 3 at number 2. Congratulations. And let's just see what the hell the AFC North has in store for these final 2 weeks. And number 1, welcome back. You got the Baltimore Ravens. The 49ers, they were looking forward to the challenge, but the Ravens defense destroyed them.
Yes, I bet you have.
Yeah, what a freaking game from the Ravens. Lamar Jackson was just incredible, except the one time he tripped over the refs and then tried to throw the ball away and got a safety. That one wasn't too good, but the elusiveness is insane. The offense was clicking. The defense, oh man, the defense was so good. 5 interceptions, just giving fits to Brock Purdy all night, and they just looked like a really damn good football team, and they looked like the best team in football. And they were getting a lot of disrespect from a lot of the media, and I will be honest, I picked the 49ers to win. I didn't think it'd be a blowout, but damn, the Ravens, they turned that narrative on their head, and good for them. They deserve it, because I know that they've been quiet this season in terms of national media coverage, but they're going to be making a whole lot of noise after Monday Night Football, and it is well earned. So the Ravens sitting at number 1 in the AFC, and they'll be playing the Dolphins next week to see if they can hold on to that. But if they're able to take down the Dolphins, yeah, it's going to be tough to go into Baltimore during the postseason and stop this Ravens team. And to any team that's going to try, good luck. So just to recap, at number 1, we got the Ravens, 2 Browns, 3 49ers, 4 Dolphins, 5 Bills, 6 Cowboys, 7 Lions, 8 Rams, 9 Buccaneers, and 10 Seahawks. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Who should be on this list? Who should be off it? Let me know. You know, I saw me at Tom Grossi Comedy, all social media, see down below. A big shout out and thank you to all the patrons and YouTube members for supporting this channel. And thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.